Okay. I know this is janky ass lighting, um, but I kind of wanted to make a quick video. So imagine, well, you don't need to imagine. Think about, think about the people in North Korea. North Korea is a country that I actually find very interesting. You know, obviously, it's a different country. For today's world, it's a very different country. Um, but just think about think about the people in North Korea and how some of them live their whole lives, or the majority of their lives, not knowing a thing about any other countries outside of theirs. Or they don't really understand what it's like to live in a country outside of North Korea. And imagine after so many years, you finally find out what it was like outside of North Korea. Wouldn't it be like a very hard-hitting feeling? I'm kind of, I still, I know exactly what it feels like, but I still am struggling to, like something like this, I know exactly what it would feel like, but not that, but you know, something like that, similar to that, but I don't have the words to describe it. That would shock you so much, right? It would shock you so much, it would hit you so hard that something so crucial and fundamental to the world you had no idea about for so long, and you thought the world was what it was not for so long, almost like living in a dream, almost like living in a dream. And obviously when we actually do dream, you know, at night when we sleep, it feels real. It's not a dream then, it's just experience, right? Only afterwards we understand that it's a dream. So yeah, it's that my last video, like the relationships one, I was kind of talking about perception and people not learning like from a past experience, and then you kind of get into this cycle of repeating the same actions, going through the same situations in the same way. And those people who do that, who are in these cycles, are not even aware of what they're doing. They're not even aware that they are in a cycle. And that's like the scary part. That's because if you do find out what you've been missing the whole time, I know for me, like that would be so shocking and so hard hitting. And I know like the truth is very important for me, and obviously, you know, perception and everything. And so, yeah, I would just, you know, whenever I talk about these things, whenever I talk about these different things about life or meditation or stuff like that, I mean, whenever you watch it, it's just a video. Whenever you look at the content, it's just that content. And then you get back to your life. You get back to your daily life. You get back to soccer practice. You get back to your job. You get back to school. You get back to hanging out with your friends or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with those things, but one day you won't get back to those things. One day you won't get back to those things. One fundamental aspect of being alive is our mortality. One day we will die. And one day you may also have your perspective change in a very significant way. And hopefully that happens sooner rather than later. And hopefully that doesn't happen when you're so close to your mortality. I don't know if that is actually grammatically correct. Whenever you're on your deathbed. That would be a tragedy if in opening up in your perception happened that late to you, or if it never happened at all. Imagine that. I think that probably happens to a lot more people than we think. And really, like, you know, the words I'm saying right now, once again, they are not important, because I'm trying to describe something that is not words. I'm trying to describe something that is not words. I'm literally trying to talk about something, and I have to use words, but I would just want to like show you the thing. I hope that makes sense. That seems kind of trippy in a way. It's funny, like a lot of these things, the most profound things in life are very simple. The most profound things in life are very simple, and they have the most impact. And most people think that to have an impact, you have to be super complicated and logical. But anyway, that's another conversation. Where was I? So yes, I'm talking about realization. This isn't, you know, some specific thing. I'm just talking about, you know, you've had realization before in your life, maybe small realizations. I've had realizations in my life. If you watched my Could This Be Real, that's kind of cool. I'm making like a similar type of video to that in the same spot, you know, in a car. I kind of like that, like keeping a similar theme with things. I don't know if you've seen that My Journey video, and I kind of tried to keep like a similar theme. I did that intentionally. I thought that was cool. Anyway, if you watch that Could This Be Real video, I talked about how like what I saw as life completely changed. What I saw as life completely changed during that particular time of the year for me. And it was a realization, like I'm trying to say right now. And well, that one didn't cause like too much like regret or anything, but I think probably one of the worst things that can come out of realization is regret, right? That how we saw life, how we saw other people, how we saw everything around us, how we saw ourselves, how limited that perspective was. If you have a realization like that, and you really feel like you've wasted a lot of time doing the same thing over and over again with a limited perspective, or maybe you did harmful things to other people or to the world, to the environment, something, that's going to induce a lot of regret, obviously. That's going to induce a lot of regret. And I just can't imagine like the feeling of like a really major event like happening like that. Like, you know, maybe, okay, I just thought of something specific. Maybe you've been married to someone for 10 years and then you find out that they've been cheating on you for like 5 years or something like that. Not like, you know, they cheated once or something, but like for 5 years they were doing this, or like they were selling heroin. That just reminded me of Breaking Bad. Imagine you're what's the fucking white Skylar? She was so annoying. Okay, I can't start talking about Breaking Bad. That's a good ass show though. Imagine you're fucking Skylar. So that's the wife of this dude that started, like this school teacher who started cooking meth after he got cancer. That's Breaking Bad. Amazing show. But you find out, you know, like he's been cooking meth for so long, and you know, you've been sleeping next to this guy and doing your normal day-to-day things and just thinking, you know, he's this, and then suddenly you realize all of that was different than what you thought it was. That's a shocking feeling, right? It's a shocking feeling. It's a hard-hitting feeling, probably an emotional feeling. Definitely some emotions are going to come out of that. And yeah, I think it's a very specific feeling whenever you come to a realization like that and you feel the regret. That's the main highlight of this video that I want to try to make you think about. Yeah, try to imagine that. Probably experienced at least a micro version of that in your own life. And yeah, just imagine going through life for so long and what you thought was important for so long. The status symbols that you thought were important, the social things that you thought were important, the what people said about you or money. And see, I'm saying all these things, and obviously there's a lot of people out there saying that, oh, money's not important. And that I don't need to tell you that. I don't need to sit here and tell you, oh, love is important and all this bullshit. I don't need to tell you that, because that information's already out there. But in your own way, all I can use is words, unfortunately. I can't really, hit you with the experience right now. That's for yourself to do on your own. In your own way, you come to this realization of everything that you once thought was important in life. So many things that you spent so much time and energy on, you realize how silly those things were. And how many times you went in circles doing the same things without the awareness of something larger, without a larger perspective of what life is about. And that's why, I talk about the significance of this stuff. Because you can watch this or whatever and just, okay, it's cool, it sounds cool. But it doesn't mean anything unless you experience things for yourself. And honestly, okay, meditation and spirituality, obviously I endorse that a lot. And that is heavily related to what I'm talking about. Meditation completely changed my perception, and it changed me a lot as a person, as a human being. And made me realize a lot of things. So that is, mainly what I'm talking about. That is direct. I'm glad I can tell you a specific activity that will directly do, whatever I'm talking about. But this is applicable to life in general, because, meditation isn't just an activity. I've said this before. Meditation isn't just an activity that you do and then once you're not doing it, it's gone. Meditation is about life. It's okay, you may sit down and do a practice for 15 minutes, but it's always affecting you. It's 24/7. It's just about life. It's just about your consciousness in general. And so what I'm saying is applicable to life in a larger sense. Do you think that, exercising every day doesn't have an impact on you meditatively too? Of course it does. Of course it does. It's a way to, to be aware of your thoughts and emotions too. Or certain challenging situations in your life, or certain relationships, or certain things, just a variety of things in life that you experience. Of course, those are also heavily related to what I'm talking about. Basically, anything that really challenges your sense of perception and challenges who you are and forces you to grow. It's very important that we don't waste time. We don't waste time in not using those things to grow our perception. That's why I focus on it so much. And that's why as soon as I was 15, 16, I asked myself questions of what the hell is really important in life? I ask a lot of why. And that's why it's important to ask why. Because you might watch this video and you're going to go to soccer practice or your job or whatever. You're going to get back to your life, and you can keep doing that. You can keep doing that over and over and over until one day you can't. Until one day when you're dead, or when you realize that you've missed so much and that you haven't been living as totally as you could have been. That's really a tragedy. That's really a tragedy. And so you say, okay, so now I'm watching the video, so what do I do? No, it's not something, I know, I understand, I'm going to turn off this camera and I'm going to go get back to my normal life too. I'm going to do the same shit, but I'm still aware of this larger thing going on in the background. And I think it's important that we remind ourselves of that. It's important that we remind ourselves of that. Because I think that is probably one of the most crushing things to experience as a human being. Is to go for a long time living a certain way, just Just imagine like a track, and you could only see 5 feet in front of you, and you think you're going forward the whole time. You think you're going forward. And then one day, oh, there's a car coming. This is going to be kind of weird if I'm sitting here at night. Okay, I think I'm going to cut that out. Basically, like, this car just drove by, and I thought it was a police car, and like just started staring and got a little nervous. But it's just someone that lives there. Okay, yeah, I see them pulling in now. So anyway, yeah, going for a long time, and then one day realizing how much you missed. I think that's a real tragedy. And probably a lot more people, I think the majority of people for sure, are like that. And that might be a little bit controversial to say, but I think the majority of people in the world are like that. I was using the track analogy. Yeah, imagine you can only see like 2 feet in front of you, and you're going around the track, and the whole time you think you're going forward, and then finally one day you can see the whole track, and you see you've been going in circles for so long. That's crushing. And so that's why I talk about the importance of this. And well, I probably will, die without knowing everything. Of course, I will die without knowing so many things, but I want to know that I really tried hard to know as much as I can, to live as well as I can, to improve my perception as much as I could. So I don't have any regrets about that. So I don't have any regrets about living totally. Because yeah, like I said, one of the most tragic things is to find out you've been living in a dream. So yeah, I think that's an interesting thing to think about. And that's why I think awareness is important. Thank you for watching. And I think it's important to note that it's so crushing and it's so shocking, and it can induce so much regret, because with life, there's no do-overs. There's no retries that we know of. Obviously, we don't know what happens after we die. Some people think they do, but we don't really know. Anyway, yeah. So with everything else we do in life, jobs, sports, any other activities we partake in, relationships, we can pick them up and put them down and try different things. But with life, you only have one life, and you only have one chance to get your perception up. And once your time has passed, your time has passed. So yeah, that's why, I'm so philosophical or whatever. I don't see myself as philosophical, but I guess that's a way that people describe me. Like, it's just, I don't know. I'm just being myself. I don't really have a word to describe myself. Yeah, but that's why I focus on it so much, trying to see things from a larger perspective, because it can be too late. It's better sooner rather than later. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, ask me what it feel like, staring at the sky so vanilla, telling Kurt Russell, homie, this ain't real life. I'll be making good on my promises, honesty is confidence, a lot of it is missing, but I realize I could be better than I was, lighter on my feet, cooking up the soul when we fire up the beat, let the fire underneath me, higher when I speak like I'm climbing up a steep tree, ooh, come and greet me.